सही है ऐसा चाहिए।
मीटिंग अटेंड करी, मीटिंग है ना। अरे एलएस में प्रो जो है ना कंपटीशन, टहलते टहलते अटेंड कर लेती हूँ। Wait, I'm coming. आ रही हूँ, रुको। आ रही हूँ का ना। ओहो।
Good evening, everyone. We are waiting for a few more participants to join. It will take 1 to 2 minutes. So please.
Good evening, ma'am, sirs.
Oh, very good evening.
As they say, conservation is a state of harmony between man and land. Good evening, everyone. I, Snehi Agrawal, am going to be a host for this session. On behalf of SETU and entire Little Scholars fraternity, I would like to extend a warm welcome to all esteemed schools participating, respected teachers, and fellow friends. Also, would like to welcome our dynamic co-founder, owner, Bhalla ma'am, the founder of SETU, Pankaj Bhalla sir, Rohit Bhalla sir, and mentor, our principal ma'am, Mrs. Shikha Gautam. Little Scholar Social Service Group, SETU, is not merely an acronym. It is a way to sustain, maintain, and propagate. Founded in 2015, SETU has been organizing annual events in the form of online workshops, culminating to a grand event. This year's theme is Sustainable Consumption and Production. This is in continuation with our previous year efforts through Swachh Bharat in 2015, Utopia in 2016, Carbon Footprint in 2017, Virtues in 2018, Clear Bottle Revival in 2019, Who Makes the City in 2020, and Streets for Me last year. Moving forward, I would like to welcome you all to this very first workshop where classes 6 to 8, henceforth, our group B, will be engaging in a common goal, healthy in, healthy out. Each participating school will be showcasing its work with 5 kids of this genre, mentored by 2 teachers. Food you eat can be either the safest and most powerful form of medicine or the slowest form of poison. Think fresh fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, healthy fruits, plants, and animals' lean proteins. Compare with frozen food, deep fried food, ready to eat foods, and fast foods. Yes, you got the idea. At this point, I would like to welcome our spokespersons for the day. Versatile Mrs. Nidhi Nikhanj and the exuberant Mr. Pankaj Sehjawaliya. Miss Nidhi is a wellness designer with 12 years of experience in textile and interiors with a recent discovery about heating through food. Her vision is to bring wellness to everyone's life through design. She is firm believer of the 4 Rs, namely reduce, recycle, reuse, and revive. Mr. Pankaj Sehjawaliya is a principal designer and senior designer professor with 16 years of extensive experience, wellness game design, brands and communication design. In 2021, he won the international competition of DCDC, the Source Corona Design Challenge, as a solution to fight COVID-19 at IDC, IIT Bombay. Not taking much time here, handing over this session to these eminent panelists. All yours, Nidhi ma'am and Pankaj sir.
Good evening, everyone. How's the Josh?
Good evening. Hi, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. So amazing, very amusing names I can see of different teams. So I welcome you all. Just give me a minute. There's an echo. Just 1 second. Good evening again. I think there was some technical glitch. I hope I'm audible to all of you.
Yes,
sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So my first, before I start, with the topic and today's presentation and what we are going to do in Healthy In and Healthy Out, I would like to know how's the weather wherever you are. How's the weather?
Cloudy.
Cloudy. Is it raining?
Cloudy weather.
Cloudy.
And how was the weather a day before? Was it raining?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. So what do you do in this climate? So whenever we have rain, so what do you like to do?
So usually we sit in our homes and eat something tasty.
Okay. So what do you eat?
I play.
So I like pakoras, our Indian snack.
Right. So we have chai and pakoda. That's very famous. That's so famous, especially, I think in our North Indian belt, right? And that becomes dabeli, that becomes a very vada pav if we go to Mumbai, Maharashtra. So that's the diversity that we have, that in monsoons, all of us eat certain Indian snacks, and we also like to have a cup of tea, right? Or in some cases, even coffee. So that is what the theme of today is, which is healthy in and healthy out. So with that note, let's start. I'm going to share a very interesting presentation. I hope my screen is visible to all of you. Right. So, as we understand from healthy in and healthy out, we are talking about what we eat, right? And what do we get out of that? So with that note, you can see how colorful the background is. And this we definitely consider as the most healthiest of all food items, which is fruits and vegetables. So moving on, I think there's before we start, I would like Nidhi to contribute.
Yeah, hello everyone. Good evening. So I hope I'm audible to all of you. Am I clear?
Yes.
Yeah. So I would like to share, as Pankaj sir said, that this workshop is about healthy eating and healthy choices. Also, it's about when we are making those choices, how those choices are impacting our environment. As the title of the workshop suggests, consumption and production, sustainable consumption and production patterns that we have to, become sensitive to. So our food choices also impact our environment. So let us, move forward in the workshop, understanding and learning how this functions, how this works. Yeah.
Right. So I think you will come across such colors and such interesting graphics which are about climate. So we started the session with climate, and it is post monsoons. We are going to start with winters in North India, and we have these unusual weather conditions, which is rain. So I am right now in Delhi, and we are not used to that much of rain, in Delhi, but it is raining. It's been the entire day, it was pouring, right? So that is the unusual nature of climate, and we see these changes on every year, annual basis. It used to be very different a generation before you. So when your parents were of your age, I think the climate was still more stable than what it is today, right? So what we are looking at is definitely a sustainable development goal number 12, which talks about to ensure sustainable consumption and production patterns. So how interesting it is that, for a particular weather, we would like to eat something, like maybe snacks. Similarly, climate plays an important role in terms of production and consumption of food in India. That's why we have seasonal fruits and vegetables, right? So with that, let's move on. We are also going to look at the entire process of harvesting, transportation, storage. So now food is a perishable item, which means it has certain life. It has to be consumed in that period, right? And if you are buying something local, you can buy a vegetable or a fruit on a daily basis. But if that fruit is coming from far, far away land, it takes time. So the time of transportation increases, and it may go through a cold storage or other types of storages, right? Before it arrives in the market. So that's where I think we have we have our other details of too much food is being lost or wasted in every country every day. And from there, I think we are looking at house, grocery store, households, and restaurants, right? Now these are different points in the entire process of a food journey, that where we can see that there is some percentage of food getting wasted. So that number is 17% for total food is wasted at the consumer level, right? So which could be consumed at house, grocery store, household, or a restaurant. So I would like to Nidhi to add on this.
Yeah, so as we all know, the fresh fruits and vegetables are procured from farms, which farmers grow. And there's a supply chain, there's a food chain and a supply chain where farmers are going to be passing on the entire produce to people, some people who are responsible for bringing those items to the market, and from market we go and buy, So in that process as well, how much we are consuming, how much production is happening, how much wastage is happening, we need to be sensitive to that. So, we need to look around us. If I talk about each team here, we have specially named each team after Indian fruits and, very, very healthy fruits and vegetables. So each participant needs to start thinking from right now that where all are the points where you can, where you see wastage of food around you. I'll give you a small example of, I would say the more consumption is happening in Delhi. We shifted to Delhi a couple of months back, and here we saw there's a lot of new startups that have come up who deliver fresh fruits and vegetables to your home, to your doorstep. So in the process, what I saw that they have started introducing so much of plastic in the packaging of fresh foods and vegetables. Still, so much of food is wasted even in the process of getting it from the, to our doorstep. So you need to exchange it, you need to send it back, then they again send a fresher item. So in this process also, we are losing so much of food, and so much of food we are throwing in the dustbins, which we are not eating. Some food is it rots over a period of time lying in the fridge. So I'm giving you some examples. So you need to think, every single day in your kitchen, in your house, in your tiffin that you bring, or maybe in your canteens, what do you see going on around as far as food and wastage is concerned? Something which is right in front of you. You don't need to go out of the house or out of the school to research that. You need to look around. Yeah.
Right. So, what we can see on the screen is e-waste collection, right? In the recent data collected in 2019, we can also see our reliance on natural resources, which has increased to 65%, right? So the need and the want, the necessity of natural resources has increased, right? Which in a way puts more pressure on our available natural resources. So this is, I think, the most important cycle that we would like to share, and which is how we are able to eat fresh fruit, right? And this is the life cycle, right, of an apple. So I think apple definitely, an apple a day keeps doctor away. I think it's the best example when we talk about health, right? So what natural resources are used? The most important definitely is sun, water, the right season, right? So one should know that when to plant the seed, right? So for most of the plants and flowers and the trees, monsoons is considered to be the best time so that every seed gets right amount of water with right nutrients, right? And you will also see that most of the seeds or small plants or the seedlings grow well during monsoons, So we are looking at germination, sprouting, and we're looking at seedling and then flowering, a tree with flowers blossoming. And then we finally have the fruits.
So there's a long process I would like to add here. So we do not receive apples in a day when we plant seeds, or is it? Do we receive apple in a day, the day we sow the seed? So can anyone just share once एक idea how much time would an apple tree take to start producing fruit? Any idea? Rough idea. You can maybe write in the message box or chat box, or you can unmute and say whatever. Okay. Yeah, Team Burash says 2 years. Team Nashpati says many years. Emily says 1 year. So everybody is sharing yes. So let me tell you that, for many fruit trees to flower and blossom, it may take more than, about 2 seasons to really bear fruit, right? So the trees that we see are at least 5-6 years old who give us lots of apples. If you see a fruit tree laden with fruit, it means it must be an old tree. So a young tree of a year-old tree, 6 months old tree will never give you fruit. So that much time and effort is required by by a farmer, by someone who's taking care of that tree, by the nature, by sun, by watering the tree. It takes so much of time and effort by nature to give you fruit. It is not a day or month or 6 months process. It is a process of a season, 2 seasons, or 3rd season. Sometimes some fruit trees also give you fruit alternate seasons. They don't give you same amount of fruit every season. So that is the kind of hard work nature is putting in to give you such nutritious fruit, right? But at the same time, we also need to look into a pattern how we are receiving so much of produce coming into the markets every season, all the year round, right? We need to think about that as well. We can move ahead from here.
Right. I want to now, again re-emphasize healthy in and healthy out. Now, what goes into what we see is a tangible effort, but there are intangibles, which means positive emotions, right? Caring about a sprout, a seedling, a young tree is very, very essential, right? Because we do not have monsoons throughout the year. The number of plantation, the percentage of plantation that we have, only few survive throughout our extreme climate that we have in India. That's where I think the caring that farmers are giving, the orchards and the farmers are giving to different fruits and plants is very, very essential. I think we should also consider that loving nature of ours, caring nature of ours when we plant something, right? So we have to become parents to these seeds, to these small plants, and to the young trees. So moving ahead, so apple is what we started with, and these are few interesting facts about different states where Jammu and Kashmir is leading with 77% of growing, of production. So these are different states that we have shared, and so we also have on 3rd number Uttarakhand, right? So mountains give that kind of environment. It's the magical nature of mountains that really give that nourishment to these plants, and they are able to grow variety of trees in different states. And now look at these amazing colors and the variety that we have.
Did you really know apples have so much of variety? Did you guys really know this? That apples, we have at least, if not more, if you're not aware of more, that so many varieties are there in the market.
So I want everyone to write down how many different types of apples they had, right?
You guys have eaten how many? 1, 2, 3, how many times?
Just write the number in the chat.
So good. Yeah. So it's so interesting that while preparing this presentation, I was also very surprised that maybe a golden apple is different from a green apple and a Suneri apple here. So it was very, very amusing to know these facts. And do you know which is the second apple named after? Just for your information, sir would like to share that.
Which one?
Macintosh apple.
Macintosh apple. So just want to share another thing, the first experience that I had. So we were in Kelang. Kelang is on the way to Leh Ladakh. And we had the privilege to actually pluck few apples, and they were the best apples that we had, which were hand plucked by us. So the entire, responsibility of a farmer is that's why we respect farmers in India, because they really contribute towards giving us so much of nourishment, and we are so rich in terms of our food that we can grow in India because of the diversity and the natural resources that we have.
Yeah. So India is very rich in so much of diversity because of its seasons also. So we are very, very fortunate. So also it is very important to understand, India is one of the, nations where we get so much of variety, yet, in today's times, we are very happy and we very, proudly flaunt that we are eating imported fruits like kiwis, which are not native to India, right? We do that. We like kiwi, we like strawberries. We do, right? Yeah.
So moving ahead, now the benefits. Every fruit and vegetable comes with good amount of benefits, right? And we're looking at good blood pressure. It aids in digestion. It helps in boosting immunity. So what is immunity? So if anyone can help us understand and write in the chat that how immunity helps us in our health.
One or two words maybe.
Right. So is immunity relevant? Is it helpful for our health? So yes, it is helpful. How? Because we just, we are going to end the pandemic that was there for 2 years. And only those who had strong immunity, and that completely depended on the health that they had based on the consumption that they had, they were able to survive. They were able to, come out healthy and happy from the 2 years of pandemic. So we are also looking at preventing diabetes. So we have heard this term that a lot of our elders at home, they are unable to eat white sugar or any kind of sugar, right? And the reason is that because the more consumption, the healthy consumption that we have of fruits and vegetables, one can get rid of even diabetes and many other ailments and illnesses. So weight loss and good eyesight, right? So how many of you knew that eyesight can also be improved by having an apple, right? So these are few benefits that apple gives us. So now we are looking at another post-harvest management, where I would like Nidhi to contribute.
Yes, so we are here very clearly, as the slide shows, that once the apples are plucked. So we've just taken example of one fruit. We have not taken so many fruits because it will be easier for you to understand the journey of the apple from growing to coming to our houses, right? And consuming it in many different ways. So firstly, when the apples are plucked, they are, there's a pre-cooling process of apples where they are kept in a place where they naturally cool down from the harvesting process. Then the grading of apples happens. Grading is basically, how beautiful the size and the shape, how equal the size and the shape and the color of an apple is. How many spots does the skin of the apple have? What is the size of the apple? So if you can see very clearly in the graphic, you are seeing the spot on the apple, you're seeing the size of the apple. That's how the apples are graded. So this is also a process. So it goes through that. And after that, the apple storage happens, packaging happens, and then finally the transportation happens. So this entire process of post-harvest, after harvesting the apples, this much energy and time and effort goes. Do you think pre-cooling of apples would not require any energy? So we would require an infrastructure, we would require a covered shed or an area where apples are kept, a huge place. we are for grading of apples, we need so much of manpower or so many machines where we are grading apples. So in India, we may be still grading with picking up apples with hand. But if you see some videos, in US it is done on machines. And then storage of apples. Again, if you see, we see all these fruits coming in boxes. Just give me a second.
Right. So now, before we move on with further, I would like to just one commendable effort from all the teams. Everyone is participating. I would just read out few of the, my previous question about immunity. So Team Anjeer has written, immunity helps us fight against diseases. Ability to fight against diseases is immunity, right? Gives energy by Team Nashpati. Power of fighting diseases. There's very interesting about regaining stamina and fight diseases by Team Khajur. The immunity system is way of protecting the body against an infectious disease. Very true and very rightly written. So I'm really happy with how every team has contributed. Improves metabolism, avoids disease to attack. Immunity fights the foreign microbe that enters our body. Very nice. So very well written. So moving on. So I'm going to share the screen again. Just one second. Right. So from here, we'll move on to something very interesting about Tetra Paks, right? So few of you may be raising hand, but I think we'll come to the question, answers, or doubts later. So we'll first finish, the important aspects of healthy in, healthy out. I would like Nidhi to contribute and shares on this particular slide.
Yeah, before we move on to this slide, I want you all to answer another question. What are different kinds of variations have you seen of apple after processing it in food? कोई और तरीके से भी खाया आपने apple instead of just biting into it or cutting and having it?
Being part of some other food items.
You need to name, yeah, exactly. Good. What else? Mm-hmm. I think perfect. All of you know how different ways we can process and store apple and maybe convert it. Yes, amazing.
Yeah,
great.
Right. About
these
cakes.
are all different ways to preserve. So if we talk about jams, jellies,
pastries,
cakes or cakes are definitely amazing things to have. So jams and all are way to preserve fruits, right? So when we add sugar to them, when we treat them on a certain temperature, etc., or we dry them up. So that is another way of drying, dehydrating a particular food item. Yeah.
So what happens, we are aware of the taste of an original apple without any additions, and we are also aware of the taste that we have, which is high on sugar, of apple pie or a cake, right? Or an ice cream or a juice or a jam. So, and obviously I think it's quite addictive, because the kind of sugar rush. And I remember, being a child and really into eating sugar and enjoying it thoroughly, right? So now let's look at another aspect. Now, one is the food, second is the packaging, right? Now, not getting into very technical aspects of it, but what you can see here is polyethylene, aluminium, and 3 layers of polyethylene, which is basically plastic, 1 layer of aluminium, 1 layer of paperboard, and the final layer again of the plastic. So 4 layers of plastic, 1 layer of aluminium, 1 of paper. All this is put together to create a packaging, right? A product, which could be anything. And in this case, it's written real. So how real is the real apple juice? right? So we'll understand that. And I think it's clearly written here. No added preservatives. We can clearly read it here. But is it really a real apple? So when we look at the back, we see that though it's written no added preservatives, but still it's written contains added flavors, contains permitted natural colors, and then there is stabilizer, right? There is sugar, there is acidity regulator written here. And then obviously there are other, apricot, banana, lime, and all these apple juice concentration of 4.72%. Now, what is interesting to understand here is that the original apple, which gives us so many benefits, here is not able to give that benefits because there are acidity regulator, there are preservatives, there are stabilizers, there are chemicals added to this, which basically doesn't give us a positive benefit. I would like everyone to guess, what is this? What exactly is this? Guess this image. What do you see in the image? So Nidhi, would you like to read what everyone is writing?
Yeah, just give me a second.
In the chat.
Yeah, it's a dump. It's heap of garbage dump, garbage mountain, dump yard in Delhi, dump waste. Yeah.
So
Landfill.
I would really appreciate all of you to see the landfill, which is also called India's Mount Everest of garbage, right? Now, this is the magnitude of waste that we are producing because we are unable to manage the waste, the things that we are consuming, and that goes beyond food.
So now one thing to understand here is, do we really need to consume all that packaged food? One, we need to ask ourselves, is it healthy for our bodies? Second, is it healthy for our environment? So these two things, is it healthy for our body or for the environment? We need to think deeper, delve deeper into this thought, understanding if it is not healthy for us, why is there so much of demand and why is there so much of availability of this product in the market? Let's consider only juices. We are not going to any other product right now, right? So it is available in the market because it has been sold as a more tastier version than the apple itself. And we have believed it and we buy it, considering that it's a healthy form of fruit. But do you think it's a healthy form of fruit? All the teams? It's a question. Do you think buying a Tetra pack of apple juice is much healthier or at par with a natural apple, which is perishable? Perishable means that anything that is grown on this planet or that is natural has a shelf life, has a life to it, right? So
Right.
For the ones who are writing partially, can you please mention that what do you think would be healthy in these juices, packed juices? Can you please tell me? Okay, so it's very important to understand. So I will give you a small understanding of consuming a fruit. Mother Nature designed food in a certain way, right? What has Mother Nature given us? Mother Nature has given us apple. What have we created out of it? Jams, pies, cakes, juices, right? And there are many more people who wanted to think ahead of us, who wanted to become very, very rich by selling preserved food. Our generations, हमारे नानी, हमारी दादी, हमारे grandparents, हमारे parents, they've been preserving food in the form of achar and jams at home, right? We all know that. But these people wanted to go a step ahead and wanted to sell these food products to people in the distance so that the food can travel some kilometers, some distance, and still be consumable. So they added certain preservatives to preserve it, and they were chemicals. So anything that we buy from market, which is inside plastic and it is lying on shelf, may have a shelf life, longer shelf life, but when we are consuming the same product, which is full of chemicals and preservatives, may reduce our own shelf life, our own life considerably. Can we, do we know how many people, how many relatives, friends, people around us are falling sick, getting diabetic, getting blood pressure, getting cancer, all of these things? So many animals are dying because of so much of garbage that we are throwing around. Are we aware of it? We do hear such news, right? Have we seen videos where we see straws stuck in maybe a turtle's nose, or maybe a fish dead because of eating plastic, or maybe a cow, having a tumor? Have you seen these kind of images we have? So all these people, they just thought of becoming richer. At your stage, when, at your age, you people are very smart and intelligent. You people are very, very aware, much more aware than what we used to be at your age. So do you think it is smart, being so smart as today's the future of our country, do you think it is smart to consume an apple juice, or do you think it is going to be smart to consume a real apple which has a lot of fiber, a lot of nutrients which are intact? What do you think?
So I would like to add here that now, one way of having apple juice is at home, right? There are juice vendors, right? There are shops, there are juice parlors where we can have the real juice, right? And another is that a shelf, in a market, we can have a preserved with preservatives. So the whole point, I think, here is how can we balance what we eat, right? And how we can also take care of our environment, right? So what is resulting? So the very fact that we mentioned about this, the layers of packaging. Now, this layers of packaging is very difficult to recycle. We cannot remove these layers again. Now, all these packaging and many other such products end up in a landfill like this one mountain in front of us. So now moving on, we are looking at, there are different examples, and we would like to actually play this, and do let us know if you can hear this, the volume. I hope you're able to hear the volume. So I think it's only the music which is playing in the background. I hope the music is audible now. Do you read what is written on the video? We are going to ask you questions, so be attentive and try to read everything and observe. Right. So now I think we are going to have a discussion on this, and I'll hand it over to Nidhi ma'am to ask.
Okay, so there's one small question which is definitely connected to sustainability, and sustainability is not achieved outside us in some other place, or maybe in Molingong in Meghalaya or somewhere. It starts with us, right? So there's a very simple question for all of you, all the participants that we have. So if we need to become healthy through exercising or through eating the right kind of healthy food, how are we going to become healthy? By exercising 3 hours a day and not being able to do it like every day. Once in a week, if we kind of exercise 3 hours, and twice in a week if we eat healthy and rest. Dominoes to hai, and pizzas are there and garlic breads are there, right? So, do you think that is a sustainable way, or is it going to be regularly doing half an hour exercise every day, and by starting to do one bit of healthy routine of consuming healthy food every day, or by changing consuming packaging food, one by one, right? What is going to be more sustainable for all of you? Yes, right. So, more than just answering here, what is important for you people to do, because it doesn't matter आप कहाँ पढ़ रहे हो, आप कहाँ पे हो, आप कौन से part में हो इंडिया के. What matters is, are you people determined to create that place, starting from your own body, to create that place into a happy, healthy, sustainable life and become an inspiration for people around you? Are you ready for that? Because this is not just a competition. This is beginning of the new era where you people are going to be the leaders, and you people are going to inspire other people. And other people are going to look up to you and say that, wow, how energetic she is or he is, how healthy she is, how her skin glows, and how, she's been doing wonderful things around her, right? For other people as well, how inspiring she is, right? Or he is. So this entire exercise today, it's not about, just this workshop or this, about taking home and applying it every single day. And this particular village that you just saw the video of, here every person is responsible for creating this beautiful place. It's not our parents, or it is not the help in our houses who's going to do the cleaning. It is people themselves, right? So one thing you need to do is take the ownership of your life today, that whatever you're going to do and learn through this, these series of workshops and this competition, you are going to bring it live in your real life through yourself and in your environment, which is going to be the real healthy in and healthy out, right? So I think Pankaj sir is going to take on from here.
So, as rightly said by Nidhi ma'am, that healthy in as an individual, right, and as a group, as teams, as a class, school, society, a community, and as a state, or as a small town or a city. So they have done it. So can be. So I think it's wonderfully shared by Nidhi ma'am, and let's move on from here. Let's go to the next slide. Now, this is very interesting and something in terms of the visuals. I think it's also kind of, you need to also observe the visuals that we have here. The first one of a tree is about responsible sourcing, which is that, the cartons which are made out of paper and paper boards are basically, again, are, coming from forests. And the forest should be well managed. So when we are able to not increase our demand, over consume the forests that we have, we are also supposed to replenish them. That is responsible sourcing. Okay. The next thing, which is world-class manufacturing. Manufacturing packaging materials while increasing efficiency and reducing waste, right? So we are aware of the demand and supply concept, right? There has to be a balance, and we should also try to reduce, we should try to optimize.
I would like to give an example here. So I was watching a video of a zero waste village in Japan. So you can also kind of Google it. You can find a village in Japan which produces zero waste. So what is important to understand here is I was seeing there are many cafes, many bars, and a lot of places where people like to go out. But what is the philosophy these places have adopted in terms of packaging? I'm talking about efficiency. So even if they have, even if they are selling juices or they are selling anything, they encourage people to get their own bottles to refill them from the cafe.
So,
think of it wherever you are. Can we kind of 10 years from now, can we look at your native places, your villages, your hometowns, your cities, where there will be cafes who do not encourage selling new plastic bottles or new glass bottles, rather encourage you to bring your own bottles from home to refill. So this takes you back to your grandmother or grandfather's era, but in a smart way, right? Yeah.
So such an interesting analogy and example that we say that with technology we are becoming smart. And what Nidhi ma'am shared was that our grandparents were smarter than us, right?
Maybe
So
their
such
parents also.
and our grand and great grandparents. So it's the value system that we had and we still have in India is very, very important. So I discovered one thing because I go out to get milk. All right. And I'm sure most of you or your parents get milk. I noticed that there are some vending machines and you need to carry your bottle and you can get milk from one of these private like Vita booths or Virka booths. And it's very interesting. So you basically are not buying something packaged, but there's a tank that is filled every day and you can go there and pay and fill your bottles. So is the case with shopping bags. Reusing fabric shopping bags rather than using new plastic is another way where we can contribute, right? So there are many innovative ways. So innovation happens when we understand the process. So today's session is all about understanding the life cycle of waste, how to become responsible, how to manage waste, and this is what we are at right now.
Waste that is produced from the food that we consume. So we are focusing on the food here, right? And like Sir said, innovations happen when we become sensitive to the problems existing around us or in our lives. So when we are sensitive to people's problems, when we are sensitive to animals getting affected, when we are sensitive to environment getting affected and our health getting affected. Yeah.
So the third one, which is about developing processing and filling systems that minimize food waste while ensuring food safety, hygiene, and lowering environmental footprints. I'm sure all of you are aware of carbon footprints, the pollution that industries are, producing while manufacturing something or packaging something, right? So there could be innovative ways of working out new processes which can help in reducing the waste. Now, yes.
So again, going back to the same village of Japan, government has issued these dustbins. आपने देखा होगा कि हम सबको all over India we received some blue and green dustbins by the government where we had to dump our dry waste, which is all the packets and paper and glass bottles and plastic bottles, and wet waste, which is the waste coming out of the kitchen. So this village in Japan, they have a small dustbin like machine placed outside the house where all the wet waste, organic waste from the kitchen goes into. So they layer it and mix it with mud, the dirt, like mitti ke saath usko mix karte hain, and it turns into very healthy fertilizer for the plants. And I'm sure most of you would be having some kind of plants at home, some ornamental plants or some fruits or some vegetables that your parents or you yourself love to grow, I'm sure. So when you already have a very healthy fertilizer with a banana peel, with an apple peel, with a onion peel in the house, why would you want to go and buy fertilizers and chemicals outside to make your home produce so healthy? So this is one simple way. Yeah.
Right. So very interesting example. When we eat a fruit, what do we do with the waste? Does it go with the dry waste, or we keep a separate dustbin for our wet waste? There are so many announcements, because I'll give an example of the city that we belong to, Chandigarh, as a hometown. Second, Delhi. So we have seen government MCD taking that initiative, announcing that keep your dry waste and wet waste separate. They have providing dustbins as well. So I think on an individual level, we becoming responsible and at least doing our bit by segregating waste. Now, the example of the the zero waste, or in Japan, is also that they actually segregate waste in
60.
Right? So
they have 60 compartments where they segregate different kinds of waste. Even the lids, metal lids hoti hain bottles ke upar, they are washed and segregated because that's metal that can be recycled, right? Glass bottles can be recycled, so they have 60 categories. Imagine,
So Nidhi, I'm kind of realizing, and obviously it's a realization many times, that what we actually call a smart living is more of a shortcut living, right? So we actually become to be really smart rather than having shortcuts and convenient ways, where which we end up making waste, garbage as mountains, right? So moving ahead, this is also one of the homeworks for all the team. And the name of the movie, this documentary, is wonderful documentary, is Home. We will be sharing the link to this, right? And do go through. This is, I think, almost 60-90 minutes of a documentary, but you would love the way it is, about earth and waste and about our resources is explained in this document. Anything you want to add, Nidhi?
Yeah, so it's a very beautiful documentary. It is a suggestion for every participant to must watch. It's a beautiful visual artwork created by a photographer through the aerial photography. तो हवा में ऊपर से अर्थ के बहुत सुंदर सुंदर, जिसे हम बोलेंगे हिंदी में, चित्र लिए गए हैं. तो उन चित्रों को जोड़कर एक बहुत सुंदर मूवी बनाई है, which is about bringing that awareness. After watching this movie, I'm sure, I was really moved. I watched this movie about 10 to 12 years ago when I was a student at NID, and I was learning designing, and sustainability also was a part of it, all of that. So I was really moved by this documentary, how beautifully they've captured and the beauty of the planet. So, you feel that why would you want to spoil it? It's so beautiful. What have you already done, and how can we stop it? So this documentary is a must watch to begin doing your assignment, before you begin doing your assignment. Yeah.
Right. And just to add, I think it's a wonderful documentary by this photographer, French photographer and environmentalist. And you would love to see that how he has captured and made us realize that how important is Earth for us and the entire human ecosystem with the environment.
Also, one last thing I would like to add about this documentary. So all of you receive gifts at some point of time in your life, be it birthdays or Diwali or whenever, right? We do receive gifts. And when we receive a gift and it's brand new, right? You do not want to spoil it. Or for example, we receive, in a new session, in a new class, when we get our new books and notebooks, we want to use our beautiful handwriting, to begin with. And as we proceed, our handwriting, becomes bad, or our notebooks become shabby, right? So we have done the same to our planet. As we have progressed living on this planet, we have abused living on this planet, and we've not been taking care of it.
Just imagine, we are talking about landfills. Just imagine a small landfill at home. We won't be able to live in that home, right? So what home is referred here is our Mother Earth, right?
And
which we are not taking care of, and each one of us,
and our bodies. So our bodies are also our home. You know, if we are not healthy, we are not eating healthy, if we are eating processed food which is packaged, it is supposed to be dead food because it is not living. Just imagine you slice a piece of tomato or a cucumber, or maybe any other food for that matter. If I say a seed of a mango, if you put it in the soil and you put chips or a garlic bread in the soil, what is going to grow into a plant? What is going to grow into a plant? A tomato, yes. And chips also, maybe French fries. They will also grow into French fries. More French fries, right? Right? No? Okay. Because the processed food is already dead. So if it is dead, what is it doing to our bodies? And the way it is served and shown us so beautifully, what is it doing to our planet? We need to think, right? So we need to choose life over death. We need to choose living food over dead food. Anything that is packaged is making our planet dead, is making our bodies dead. Clear? Are we clear on that?
And how do we see that dead? The very fact that how, I would say death will be defined is how the illnesses take over our body, how our health starts deteriorating. And the biggest eye opener was these 2 years of pandemic.
Also,
because of our habits, because of what we used to eat, it really affected us.
Also, I would like to add here, the ill health of the planet is showing through the Western disturbances that are occurring every single day. We are seeing floods and untimely rains,
natural calamities, earthquakes,
right?
Tsunamis.
So that is ill health of the planet. It is showing, it has started showing the way our body starts showing, right? Yeah.
Yes, so everything is cause and effect. I think this entire today's session is definitely an eye-opener. And we will continue with all these things that we are sharing today. And it's really good to have all of you proactively participating and participating by replying in the chat. Now, moving ahead to the next one is the activity for all of you, for all the teams. Now, the activity is very simple. Okay. So the first thing, activity is a research activity, which means that you have to become Sherlock Holmes, right? Like a detective. You have, as a team, you have to find out details. The way we explained you about Apple, right? So the selection of the fruit is the name of your group, right? So that is the fruit or the vegetable that is already assigned to you as a name of a team. Now you will work around that. The first thing you will start is you will understand the food life cycle of the name of the team, whether it's a fruit or a vegetable or any other food item, right? So you will identify and you will create. So you may create in any form. It could be on a big chart, and you have the way we explained on the presentation. You will explain the entire life cycle of banana, mango, and whatever the name is that is assigned to the team. So what are you going to take care of? You will take care of the season, right? What is the right season? So we did share with you about the seedling, plantation, turning out to be a plant, flowers and fruits. So all that entire life cycle, you'll understand, you'll share with us about the season. You'll share about the location, the way we shared about Apple in different states. You'll share about the geography. You'll share about seed, plantation, germination, sprouting, seedling, tree, flowers, fruits, and back to seeds, right? So so as a team, you will work together and you will work effectively, and you will complete the first task, which is about the life cycle. The second one, which is about creating post-production cycle. The way we shared about after farming, we have grading, which is the quality of the fruits and vegetables, its storage, packaging, transportation, and finally it arrives at the market, right? So again, focusing on the name of the team, the food and the vegetable that you have, you will complete the post-production cycle. And the third one is about creating consumption and waste management, right? Now you will understand, like, for example, if it is banana, so how do we consume it? What is the waste? And you will easily find this data because we are a technology driven society. We can easily find this data, and this is the assignment for all of you today. And now I think we are open to questions. Any doubts anyone has, and we are open to discussion.
I think I've already seen two questions here. One was that when do we have to present it? I think it is going to be the next discussion is going to be day after tomorrow,
24th.
24th. And tomorrow you have time. Also, further details will be given to you, the teams, by their respective teachers and guardians and SETU team, right? Another question that has just come up is, can we present through a presentation? So what are we expecting? We are expecting a presentation or like a flow chart or a chart board?
I think we are open. We are open to all kinds of mediums. And I think your mentors, your teachers, who are assigned to you will give you guidance on that. But right now, I think we are not limiting our creativity to chart papers. It could be chart papers, it could be a digital medium. But the more focus actually is on research, is about the awareness that you are able to gather as a team, the more knowledge and the more wisdom that you may have by the end of the entire process, and the best way to present that creatively. So how creative you are. So you have to look at the strength of the team members. If there is someone who is really good in, let's suppose painting, someone who is really good in creating chart papers, or digital, is really good with presentation. So I think we are open to that. It could be any medium, but as a preference, it will be really great if you work with some materials, right? If you create something, but we are open to digital mediums and tools as well. All right. And so select your tools and mediums wisely, right? More than that, I think it's your research that you will be able to gather the information, and how you're going to present that knowledge of yours, right? So try to observe, try to read, also have discussions around it, right? And as teams, make sure that you do justice to your team name.
Also, very important for all of you to understand is that, when we had to do this presentation, I was feeling a little nervous. I was thinking, how best can I present this workshop so that you all are able to move forward with clarity. So you should also have that intent of giving your best to this, because this is going to also become the reason for you to become what you're going to become 10 or 15 years from now, I believe. This is going to be that. So also another thing, there's a question about Japanese village, right? Someone has asked that why is Japanese village not the cleanest village of Asia if it has a perfect waste management system? It is basically called the zero waste village of Japan. So I think I would want you people to maybe Google it and see why it is not called the cleanest village of Asia and why it is called the zero waste village. So challenges are everywhere, So when I was watching this video, this lady who was the head of taking care of the waste management, she said that the biggest challenge they face is telling people to follow suit, to do what they have been doing, things by segregating waste and, do what they've been guiding other people to do. So the village is small, there are not many people, yet they face a lot of challenge to encourage everyone to do the same. So imagine what India is going to face. So we need more and more people to do that, right? So please look into that. We're going to share links and this presentation
right. There's a question, about what type of chemicals used in preserving food cause the most damage. Can you explain, ma'am? So, now based on the fruit or the vegetables, right? The answers you will get from the research that you will do, right? So the session was all about, giving you an overview, but not giving you answers, right? So answers is what you're going to find out as teams, and all of you are capable. And I think very good participation, all of you. Is there any question? We would love to hear from you. And if someone would like to unmute themselves and just share how was the session for them. Right. So, okay. So you can unmute yourself. Right. So I'm not aware if you need permission, but I think yes, anyone can unmute themselves. Right. All right. Right. I think let's wind up now. And lovely teams and fantastic. Yeah, thank you for the your compliments, and we're looking forward to wonderful participation from all of you. We'll be sharing this presentation as well as the videos. And enjoy your evening, and I'm sure you're going to have chai and pakora if there is still time before the dinner. So with that note, thank you so much. And
thank you everyone. Let's meet day after.
Thank you so much. Right, everyone. Thank you so much. So Team SETU, just unmute yourself. We are unable to hear you. Right.
Thank you to both our panelists. It was indeed an enlightening session. As the session comes to its end, I would extend a sincere gratitude to our dedicated panelists for being our torchbearers. Thank you, Pankaj sir and Nidhi ma'am. Also, a heartfelt thanks to patrons for joining us and making this session a success. As you all are aware, next workshop is on 24th September, 4 to 5 p.m. on preserving nutrition and the concept of sun-cooked food. See you all there. Have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you
so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.